Welcome to the Delvin Cox Experience, the podcast in which each week I am on a one-man mission to unite our culture through diversity. I'm your host, Delvin Cox, and with me on the podcast today is two brothers who've been on here before. Y'all know them well. Go ahead and say who y'all are.
You got Patrick Foreman, Black Cotton.
And Brian Hawkins, Black Cotton.
Black Cotton. And we are here back again to talk about some more Black Cotton. But before we do that, as always, we like to start the podcast off with the 5 for 5. 5 questions, 5 answers to get the ball rolling. Guys, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Man, yeah, let's do it.
Question number 1. This is going to be a tough one for both of you guys.
Ooh. Challenge.
Jackson 5 or New Edition?
Ooh.
New Edition.
Man.
Oh, I didn't expect that one. Okay, I like that.
Okay. Man, you're absolutely right. That's a tough one.
The real tough one.
I gotta go with New Edition too.
Oh, didn't expect
Black
that.
So,
I like that.
You want to know why?
Yeah, give me your why.
Okay. New Edition is the only group for each of its members when they split up and did their own project to also have a #1 Billboard chart hit. All of them, even Johnny Gill. So
that is true.
The Jackson 5 can't say that.
Yeah,
I respect that.
that is very true.
Look, you gave your reason. Let me get mine. Which I love that reason, and I never thought of it. So it's sweet. My joint is just relatability. Like at the end of the day, I mean, like the Jackson 5 was like how to get famous. Like Joe Jackson was like, the machine behind them, and they had some great songs. But New Edition was like relatability. Like you felt what they were singing about. You've been that teenage in love and heartbreak and blah, 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 et cetera. And they captured that moment. And, I'm born 1978, 80s, 90s. You know what? 80s baby, 90s kid. New Edition is it, man.
Okay,
think about this. Think about this too. New Edition still let it.
Yeah.
New Edition still have one of the hottest concerts you could go to simply because each member can sing some of their own songs.
I mean, that's true.
At the concert, and they sing the group songs. It is, and don't even forget, Bell Biv DeVoe brought Boys to Men to us.
Poison.
Okay,
come on.
I'm gonna ask part 2 to this question.
Mm-hmm.
Which one has the better Christmas albums? New Edition or Jackson 5?
Oh.
That's all. That's hard.
I gotta say Jackson 5 on that one because I still play the Jackson 5 Christmas songs more than New Edition Christmas songs. I don't even think about New Edition, to be honest, during Christmas time.
Ooh, I didn't expect
Jackson
that.
5.
Now, I heard that New Edition's Christmas joint was like that. But here's the thing. I am not a fan of Christmas music. I'm just not. I mean, it really makes me sad. At the end of the day, a lot of songs make me sad. I love me some Rudolph. I love me some Jingle Bell Rock, but that's the extent of it for me.
I will
say this. Say to that is by humbug.
That was what I was thinking.
I will say this. I don't like most Christmas songs, but it's something about Black Christmas songs like Donny Hathaway, This Christmas, and the Jackson 5 Christmas, and New Edition Christmas.
It's a soul
night. You gotta play it.
You gotta play it. I just gotta play them. They're just so good.
Now the Temptations Christmas, I've heard that whole album, and the reason why I heard the whole album is my college roommate, my best friend, Joseph Neal. He played that when November hit in college, from November 1st all the way until we left, that joint was rocking every day. And so what they did was we had our own apartment, right? Like on campus apartment. And so it was 4 of us. And so what would happen is when that November 1st hit, 2 things happened. We're going to Walmart to get eggnog, and they're playing the Temptations Christmas. And what they did was, it was 4 of us. They decided to each person take a part, and they would sing. Is it this Christmas? It was one. No.
You Are My Christmas.
One, huh?
You Are My Christmas, I think it's called.
It was one of them that they were singing, and I would always try to join in. And I love to sing, but I can't hold a tune to save my life. And so they would vote me out. So I became the David Ruffin of the group. And I live by that. I'm like, I'll go solo.
Let me tell you this real quick. At my church, every year, the 4th Sunday is the men's choir. And every December, we sing Silent Night. Now, the first time we did it, I was not aware of how important it was to sing this song, that all the women in the church were waiting for this one song. Oh. Man, me and BB, we the leads, right? But BB, he sets it off with the the Temptation when he, do that little thing. Man, he did that. All the women jumped up and started screaming. I was like, they forgot where they were, Now I had to show out,
Let me show my Jesus real quick. Hang on.
Put Jesus on pause,
Touch my hem.
Oh man.
Wash my feet. Hang on.
I regret not asking. I don't regret asking that question at all. All right. Question number 2. All right. Jake Paul versus Mayweather. What happened? That's the question.
Hey.
Let you go.
Mayweather is a genius.
Yeah. He got the bag.
Here's what I don't understand. I guess I do understand. Jake knew he could never win the fight. And he said, I'm going to do this quick cash grab. And Mayweather said the same thing. He said, this boy can't beat me. I've been at this game over 40 years, He can't beat me. And I'm going to get this even bigger 250 million cash grab. I'm going to give him these crumbs. He going to be happy while I punch him in his face. And then I'm going to get out. Mayweather's a genius. You just give it to him.
Yeah.
So my take on that is, one, I will have to say this. I'm going to say Mayweather because at the end of the day, I don't really follow boxing. I stopped after my dad and I, we haven't watched a match in so long, but I stopped way back when. But I'm saying Mayweather simply because of the business acumen. And that is what I really look at. It's like boxing in a whole, even from wrestling to mixed martial arts is business. It's business. And it's gladiator business that people have become smart about, which is good. And they've learned to market themselves. They learned to build the business off of, our need to see aggression, our need to see fighting, our need to see that physical contact. And they've trained and built their bodies and their mind up enough to where they can really do it in entertainment value. And it still draws us in. And Mayweather is a master at it. He is. So that's what I'm saying him.
Okay.
Saying, you're going against a professional. And anytime you go against someone who is a professional at it, you're at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, your job is to not get hurt.
Yeah.
You can spend that money.
I have an interesting question number 3 for you guys. You can erase one movie / reboot from history out of these 2. Coming to America 2. You can erase that. It never happened.
Okay.
Or the Ghostbusters reboot.
Oh man, that's what the heck?
I'll let you go first, Brian.
Which one are you erasing?
All right, so look. I have I mean, this might be my answer. I haven't seen Coming to America 2. And the reason why I haven't seen it and I wasn't impressed to see it, no, I haven't. Now, I've watched some interesting shows and I picked them over this. And I go by the mood I'm in. And the reason why I haven't seen it is I remember Coming to America, like, I have to call it one now, but like just Coming to America. And that is so classic for me.
You didn't want to ruin
that it's hard for me, like X amount of years later, say, okay, here's a sequel. And my thing is this, look, I firmly believe in storytelling. Like I want to say I'm almost religious about it, right? And my thing is, I don't see, like when you make a sequel, and I'm not trying to knock it, because I mean, I'm going to watch it and it could be great. But
no, it's not.
But, okay, but there we go.
Hold on. Like, let me comment
like,
first. Nah, go ahead, bro. I'm saying before he say it's not.
Okay. You have to. I feel like you have to make a sequel based off of if the story still has life in it. You know, the stories are alive, in my opinion. They're alive. They're alive because we're alive. But, you know, you can feel a story that's made because, oh, we can reboot this. Oh, we can do this and make some money off of it. And we can make it work. There's a difference between making a story work and a story meaning to be alive. You can feel it. You know it. And for me, I was impressed to see it because I felt like, oh, this is the mode we're in with a lot of things. Let's reboot this. Let's start it over. Let's add it in. And so I'm not like drawn to it immediately because I don't see that there was more story. If there was more story, it would have came way sooner. And it didn't. So not knocking it because I haven't seen it. The reason why I haven't seen this because it just feels like, for me, like it was kind of just, let's add this story on because we can.
So your answer is the Coming to America 2? Is that your answer?
Erase that one from history. Didn't happen. Didn't exist.
What was the other one?
Ghostbusters reboot.
Ghostbusters reboot.
Man, I didn't see that one either.
You are a smart man.
That's the one with the females,
but I'm
right?
not going to knock. But I'm not going to knock that one because I like the idea of having a different aspect of Ghostbusters. Like to me, it felt like almost a spinoff. But I didn't see it, so I can't judge it.
I will say this. The actors in the movie wasn't the problem. The female Ghostbusters weren't the problem in the movie. They did what they could do with a bad script. That's what I would say about that. It's not on them.
Okay. Now,
yeah, that's fair.
Here's my answer on that. I fully agree with you, Dalvin, that it was a bad script. I really don't know what they could have, done with it, because it goes back to what Brian was saying. Ghostbusters not only, had 1, 2, but 3, movies. So where could they go to bring these females in? It was a tough task from the beginning. That's the one that I would erase from history because, one, I feel there was no need for it. My comment on Coming to America 2, here's what I would say about it, Brian. Watch it because it was better than I expected it to be. And the reason why it was better than what I expected is because us who have watched the original, to see all of those from the original cast in Coming to America 2 after all these years, it was a joy to see them. It was like, oh snap. They got her. She still looks great. And
I agree with that.
What they did with the story, they actually really made it a believable, continuation from the story. They even tied in very well, like, oh snap, where did the sun come from?
Okay.
So that, they really did that well. It wasn't. Here's what I'll say: it wasn't like a done 5-star, movie, but it had its funny moments. Wesley Snipes, I gotta say, he did a
great.
phenomenal job, in that movie. So it was good. On this question, it was way better than Ghostbusters, the reboot. If I had to choose one, it would always be Coming to America too.
Okay, that's a good answer. All right, question number 4. What's the best thing about everything opening up now? Like last time we talked, we were all stuck inside, couldn't do nothing. Now, sun's out, fun's out. So what's the best thing about everything opening up now?
Here's what I'll say. It's weird.
It is.
Because now, when you go out, the first thing you're looking for is, okay, who ain't wearing a mask? Why aren't you wearing a mask? Are you vaccinated or not? Or are you being precautious? Why are you looking at me? Because I don't have a mask on. I'm vaccinated. You feel, why are you so close to me? So it's cool that things are opening up. I would say the positive from it is obviously our economy. Businesses are getting, more people coming in, that sort of stuff. But it's still very weird, now, even though they want you to feel safe, you don't feel safe when just yesterday on the news, they talking about this Delta strand that is more contagious and it's like COVID on steroids. Why are you telling me that if you want me to walk out without a mask and be safe? It's all weird.
Yeah, it is.
You don't know what to believe.
No, true. So today was my first day that I actually walked into a Starbucks. And and after a year and a half, and I walk in there and I'm fully vaccinated, but I still wear a mask. And so I walk in and it's a moment because it's my first time in a year and a half doing something that I normally would just do. And here's the deal, is that we're creatures of habit and we absorb. And so what ends up happening is after a year and a half of being in this mode of fear, mode of protection, of survival, when you begin to christen a new way of life, for me, the best part is the newness of it. The best part is like really being, for me, in tune to all the feelings that you're having about it. And so what happened on my first time out, I did some work. I still sat outside, but my first time sitting outside of a place in a year and a half. And the first thing that happens is I hear this gigantic explosion behind me. And I look, and like there's this accident that has happened behind me on like the main highway. And so the interesting thing about it was, for the first time, I really embraced being vaccinated. And I went out to the highway to check on those people. And it was a newness there, like not a rejuvenation, a resurgence. It's like a return, a rebirth, whatever, right? And I'm out there and I'm talking to people. I carried my mask, and at first I had my mask on, but then I took my mask off and I began, checking to make sure everyone's all right. Call 911 for people. Cops came. I talked to the cop, and he was right there in front of me. And I have all these things going through my head about his closeness, proximity, how much time I'm in front of him. And that's the thing. We are so keenly aware of these aspects and nuances of life now that never was there. And here's the crazy thing that I'm going to say, and then let it go. This is what thousands and thousands of years ago, we as human beings experienced. When we walked out into nature, we didn't feel like we dominated everything. We didn't feel like, it's my world, I'm going to do what I want. Now there's this idea of we're not all dominant. And I think, I'm gonna say this very carefully. I think it's okay. I think it's okay because I think it can teach us a certain appreciation for the things that we have taken for granted over hundreds of years, over this industrialization that we're in. So that's where I'm at with it.
Great answer. I like that. All right. Question 5, a little bit more lighter.
Okay. Every question.
All right.
That coming to America one was rough.
Okay. Black Cotton movie.
Oh my goodness.
You can pick any actors. Let's give you 3. Each of you guys get 3 to be in the movie.
I'll let you go first, Patrick.
Well, you know I'm gonna steal one of yours.
I know you are. That's why I get. That's why I told you to go first.
Regina King, no doubt. we want Regina King bad. I mean, she would kill Jalissa. Just her whole persona, her attitude, just how she is. That's Regina. So I would love to have Regina King in there. I'll tell you somebody who I've been thinking about lately too, who I saw on Broadway, and he's a phenomenal actor, just can play any part. And I think it would be a stretch for him. It would challenge him, but I think he's up for it. What is it? Ty Diggs.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do. I really like him. I think he could really shine. and shoot. Let me see. The last one is still, I like old boy from This Is Us. I forget his name. The young cat, the young brother who he plays the black son on This Is Us when he's young.
I've never watched
his name. I got him on my Instagram, you know, but I think it's Nick something. It started with an N. I'll look him up.
Okay.
But him, yeah, I think he would do a great, you know, Xavier, okay. Or and since he's getting older, we might even, because he might get bigger. Hey, Zion, he could roll right into Zion.
Okay.
All right.
What about you, Brian?
So I would love John Boyega, like to put him in the role of Zion. Like one, I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
You know, stepping out from Star Wars, you know, who cares? I mean, great. I'm glad that, you know, we know who he is because he did Star Wars, but I think that he, you know, he's a person. He's a person. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, for him to step into the role of a Black officer in a reality where Black is majority, and for him to play the role of Zion would be huge. Yeah. So I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna say, I want to say, if I could dream this up, like possibly like Denzel or Elijah, like a gray haired Denzel, like a great, like he doesn't dye his hair, you know, he just let it go, like it show his age, for him to be Elijah. Now I think I'm gonna go with Kia on this one, and I think I'm gonna pick. I think I'm gonna go with maybe a. Don't go with Kia. Yeah, I go with Kia. No, I don't want to go with Kia. I don't know. I think I'm out on it. Like those are my two. Like he took my Regina King, but I want to say no. Okay, possibly I would go with for Xavier. I go with Xavier. the guy, it's Casimus, I believe. Like he's the new Batwing.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, like I would go with him as Xavier.
I can see that.
Yeah. Kia, I'm kind of like, I really think for Kia, to be honest with you, if I could pick, I think it should be someone that like is quote unquote no name.
Is who?
Like no name.
Unknown.
Yeah, new.
Yeah. Like because for her role, I feel like, at least in volume 1, she plays a big part in volume 1.
Mm-hmm.
And to have someone who is not as well known to carry that part, I think would be great because you're seeing them as a character as opposed to that person, if that makes sense.
And Nels Fitch is who I was talking about. From This Is Us, Nels Fitch. Yeah, but I agree 100% with you, Brian, on that, because I feel the best shows, if we look at the shows on TV like Criminal Minds or NCIS or Criminal Minds had they had who was their star? Well, you got LL Cool J on
NCIS,
NCIS. And then you had Lawrence Fishburne, who was on CSI at one time.
That's correct.
CSI, and I know that Criminal Minds messed up because they had what's his name? Forrest Whitaker. They had Forrest Whitaker. And this is gonna bring what I was talking about. They had him as the main character. And the problem was he was such a great actor that it exposed all of the supporting cast around him like, ooh, they ain't on his level. It almost looked like he was overacting, but Forrest Whitaker was just being Forrest Whitaker. And they were unbelievable because they couldn't act on his level. So when you flip it and have no names as your main character, and you let the main, that star be a supporting cast, like Lawrence Fishburne was, like LL Cool J, then it helps the others to rise. And like Brian was saying, you really develop them as the character. You're like, oh, okay, there are no name. And boom. Yeah, it goes from there.
Like you said movie. If you had said TV show, I would have picked different people. Because see, Denzel to me, like, I don't know if I want to see a Denzel TV show.
No.
Yeah, right? I agree with that. I don't think I want to see that.
Yeah. So for a TV show, I'm picking different people probably.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, movie or TV, I mean, hey.
Whatever one.
I mean, let me see which way we go with this. I mean, can we get one? If we can get one, that'd be cool. All right.
Regina's done both.
Hey,
for real.
Regina King either way for me. She is one solid for sure. Yeah.
All right, let's get right to it. I want to ask you guys a few questions about everything with Black Cotton. So you guys are on issue 4 now, I want to
say? Issue 3 it came out July 9th, but in some stores it came out July 16th.
Mm-hmm.
So issue 4 would be June 9th, June 16th. Issue 4 comes out July 14th.
So essentially issue 4 is coming out soon. So you guys are working on issue 4 / work wink wink coming out soon.
Oh yeah.
So
we're not working on it. It's done.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay, it's just about releasing.
It's releasing. So
it's releasing.
Let me ask you guys this. So far, with 4 issues under the tuck, how's it been so far?
Go ahead, Brian. I'll let you, start on this one.
All right. It's been, it's been humbling. It's been great to see how well, I believe, in comics in general, how well it's been received. For it to be a Black comic, how well it's been received, and for the subject matter, how well it's been received. And I think the weight of what Patrick and I are writing story we're telling, for it to be received and for it to be embraced and for it to be really looked at and read. That reception has been great because we see that, I mean, like issue 1 on several occasions was next to like Batman, was next to Marvel, was next to like, and for it to be a Black comic book and for it to be Black cotton and for it to be that subject, it really was profound for us. And, we're grateful, we're excited. On the flip side, it's exposed human nature a lot too. If you go on our ads for Facebook, where they throw it out to everyone, that big broad band of people, you get to see what, people really think when you present a story that is an altered reality, where Black people are superior in a social setting. There's a group of people that do not mind spreading their venom and their hate at that idea. And for me, Patrick and I, we have this, we don't respond to negativity, but it really exposes that group of people that they truly do exist. And that idea of a superior Black America is a problem. It really is a problem. It's not as a problem. The comparison here, you have, a Man in a High Castle on Amazon, and they're not anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
But you see a comic book that says Black cotton and where social order reversed, and it's racist. Message. Message. So your fear is, there is some truth to it. There is a fear of the idea of Black supremacy, but there certainly shouldn't be any supremacy. But the fear of Black supremacy is actually the fear of not being on the top. What they don't like. Equality isn't even good. Let's pretend that there's equality so that things can continue to run as they are.
The perception of equality.
Yes, and that's fine with us. But to present a story, because I'm sorry I'm so long-winded. At the end of the day, stories have power. Stories have been told from the beginning of time, oral traditions, and they've been passed on. Religions are written down. It's not a coincidence that religions are in books and we learn and we take 3,000, 5,000, 8,000-year-old histories and we say that they're truth. The reason why, because the human mind gravitates towards stories. And the fact is, if you put a story out that empowers, that flips what a world is, for someone to get another idea, another perception of themselves, another idea of what things could be, it's problematic. It's problematic because of the way that the world is supposed to run. And we haven't written something that is, that's supposed to like flip the scales. What we've written is about perception. It's about walking in another person's shoes, as Patrick says. But it's just the idea that a Black race could be on top. It's problematic, and it's exposed on a lot of the ads that we run. I'm sorry I was so long-winded on that, but I have some feelings about that. So sorry.
But I guess my take on it would be, it has been so well received that it has exposed something that was lurking underneath America's, ground floor. And what I mean is this: people have been itching and waiting for something like Black cotton to come out so they could have these types of discussions that are going on. We have had so many discussions like with you. This is, this isn't the first time we talking, this is an ongoing conversation, and people have been dying to just have conversations with other people, other races, conversations that most people feel is uncomfortable. But since we have presented it in such a way where you're able to, one, have that self-dialogue with yourself, then that means that when you do have that conversation, it's not one of those off the cuff, conversations. You know that you have to come a certain way when you're having this discussion, since you've been walking in somebody else's shoes and you've had all these different perception challenges thrown at you. So that's the beauty about it. And we have seen all types of races, come and be very supportive of Black Cotton. We had a cat who said issue number 3, was what did he say, Brian? He said something we put in issue number 3 was the moment, the most important moment this
of the year
in comic books.
Yeah.
So these individuals who are reading Black Cotton, which is what I really love, and it's because it really shows that what me and Brian have done behind the scenes is really coming out in the story and being revealed in those who are speaking about it. It is a thought-provoking comic book. It is meant to tell a great story, but at the same time, as you're walking through this story, it's also making you think.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about it, because if you think about it, then at the end, growth can happen. Absolutely. And that's what's happened with me and Brian from the beginning. I mean, all these thousands of conversations we've had, and we challenge each other. And you are seeing all of that. And I think that's why people enjoy it as much as they do, simply because they are being challenged the same way that we are being challenged when we're writing it.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. One, I think the response that you guys getting from Black Cotton is fantastic, positive or negative, because sometimes that negativity can drive you to do better. And it also lets you know if you got the right people being negative to you, it lets you know you're on the right path.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like Black Cotton is important because in a world where we have the Marvel universes and the DCs and those stories where you have like Captain America going around punching people, Superman, Batman, the heroes that we know and love, it's refreshing to see something like Black Cotton. And I'm gonna give another writer props who gave you guys props, Rodney Barnes with Philadelphia. I think it's really refreshing to have those two books stand alongside the Batmans, the Supermans, the Spider-Mans, because those are more cerebral books and those are about the story. And I think that's awesome where you can. Black Cotton is not a book where you're going to see somebody get their lights punched out every 5 minutes. You're going to see this dastardly villain try to take over the world. It's more cerebral. It's more sinister. It's not necessarily good guys and bad guys. It's more gray area.
Right.
And I think that's a far more difficult story to write. Not only to write, but for people to connect with. So my question is to you guys is, how do you, with the way this story is written, make it so relatable to both sides? Because when I first read it, I showed people the story, they're like, we like it, but we don't know where it's going to go at. Because they were like, particularly issue 1, because they're like, we like it, we like the flip, but then what happens, Like, we all know, should we be rooting for our people or should we not be rooting for our people? They don't know how to feel about it because it kind of opens up a different type of emotion. And you ask some of those questions in issue 2 and issue 3 for that matter. Mm-hmm. But let's get into that. Like,
I'm gonna say a couple of things, and then I'm gonna let Brian, go ahead and hit it home. I'm gonna talk about that gray area that you were talking about in the construction of and the talks of me and Brian. Marco Perugini, shout out to him, phenomenal artist, and probably, one of the key elements that, we put on the team from the beginning. When Brian mentioned Marco to me and we started, I had already seen some of his works, but Marco really has embodied Black Cotton. And what I mean is, me and Brian are operating in the gray area, which is why it's in black and white. We did that strategically because we needed people, one, to focus on the words and the expressions that are, being are drawn, that are being given to them. So we needed to strip color away and let them see black and white and get in that gray area that we're operating out of. And that goes back to what I was saying about Marco. Marco, with his expressions, that's why the expressions and the way he draws is so powerful, simply because since you have no color, then you see the words, but then all of those subliminal things that we put in, like the White Lives Matter signs and everything, and then some of the words that we use, especially in issue 3, it draws you in. And then you look at his expressions on the characters, and it's like, oh, let me take notice to this, So that's how we connect, get them drawn into that second and third level, to where when they are reading the story, they are really drawn in. It's almost like, when somebody's watching a show and you call in their name and stuff, and you can't even get their attention because they're so focused, on that TV show. That's how people are with Black Cotton, because you have to pay attention, when you're reading, and before you know it, you are really focused on everything. So that's the piece that I'll talk about. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I mean, just to add on to that, like Marco has, he has the vision, from we've had conversations with Marco where, he understands what Black Cotton is, what its purpose is, its meaning, and he's all in on it. And I think we see that in the art when he brings it to life, because that's what he's doing. He's bringing it to life. And the relatability, Patrick and I, we're trying to tell this story from the point of the human condition, from the point of who we are as people. And at the end of the day, that gray area is because at the end of the day, I mean, we are all extremely light brown, melanin, or darker brown. There actually is no white and there's no black, actually. And so our premise speaks to that, the social order of white and black, because those are constructs that has been created for us to adopt and for us to categorize ourselves in, and we've bought into it. And so what Black Cotton attempts to do in art, and how the story feeds into the art and the art feeds into the story, is that you're in this gray area of what is the human condition, where right and wrong, black and white, good and bad, it's all kind of questionable here, and you're trying to discern what it is that, like where you fall, what you assign yourself to, what you believe in, which is really the path that every human being is on. We're all just assigning ourselves to different aspects and thought processes and things that we're attached to, and to actually give our life meaning and to give our life purpose, and for us to move forward in this supposedly linear life we're in, beginning in. So Black Cotton kind of, it captures that idea. And I think it's relatable because of that, because, you know, we're not, you know, you get a story like called Black Cotton, and, you know, the first thing you think about is oh, we're gonna be preached to. Oh, they're gonna flip it to where now the white people in chains now, and they just ruling everything. That's not what Black Cotton is. Black Cotton is an honest look at perception and social order, and it forces you. It fosters thinking about self, thinking about the social order that self is in, and how it applies to you. So I believe that, you know, that's where the relatability like falls at.
Okay, I like that. All right, 2 questions. The first one was a comment, more or less. The art in Black Cotton is fantastic, and particularly I like the fact, and I think this is intentional, that the cover is full color, beautiful cover. And then when you open up the cover, you go inside this black and white world. And it enthralls you into this world. And the art in it is beautiful. The pages, the way the pages feel across your head, because like I say, I like print. It feels valuable. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like, you know, you sometimes you get comic books, like especially indie comic books. You'll pick up an indie comic book and it feels like almost like confetti. Like, yeah. Whereas Black Cotton in particular feels like a high class book. So when you're reading through it and you're looking through the cover and the beautiful art, and you see the outside cover, and it gives you that full beautiful world that you see in Black Cotton, and you go inside and kind of see, while still beautiful, you see the drab inside of the black and white world of Black Cotton. It kind of gives you a whole new imagery of how you feel about everything. So is that it first? Well, that's the first question. Is that intentional?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
No, yeah, like for real, it is. Yeah.
I think it's just a short answer on it. I think it's twofold intentional. You know, there is something. I mean, me and Brian are people of color, point blank. And when we look out across this spectrum of comic books, Brian says it a lot of time. He said people want to see themselves. They want to see representation of themselves. And we are people of color. So when we look out, you know, I look at other comic books, and I look at how people of color are depicted. I look at how women are depicted. I just, you know, take a note of it. And if you notice, we make sure that we are looked at in a positive light. Because a lot of times, if you watch the news or if you watch TV shows, guess what? They don't put us in a positive light.
Not at all.
So why not, since we have a platform and we flip this whole, you know, social order, why not every time you see, you know, people of color, they in a done positive light, in a respected light, you know, in a way that, guess what? We should really see ourselves. We should feel good about ourselves. That's, you know, why it's in color, because we really want you to take note. We want you to see it in full blast, and we're not being shy about it. These are some powerful Black people, you know, and we want you to see it and know it. And then we're going to flip it on you with other things, which people really didn't notice. If they look at the cover 3, how are the Nightingales? They're not in a powerful light. They're in a more beat down light, the same light that we see we see ourselves in real life most of the times. And it's so funny going back to what Brian had mentioned earlier with the ads. So when we put out, the Black strong, powerful, covers, man, they be shooting with some negatives, back at us, boom, y'all just boom, they just shoot. But then we put the cover with the nightingales on it. And all of a sudden it was crickets. We had a couple of negative comments. And I said, isn't that funny? They don't care what light they look at, just as long as they the light that's being shined. I said, look at that. That's funny. But we got a trick for
But my second question I want to ask you guys, I guess Brian can answer this one. Issue 2 in particular, the word Black privilege is thrown around a lot. I like that it's thrown around a lot. What did it mean to you by adding this word, particularly in this issue? And shining a light on it for that matter.
Black privilege. In the Black Cotton universe, the BCU, Black privilege is the equivalent to what's in our world, white privilege. And at the end of the day, it's questionable for some people if this exists or not. And so what we got to do in Black Cotton is we got to present it it's the same thing. It's just termed Black instead of white. And it goes back to what Patrick says a lot about perception, walking in someone else's shoes. And so it's a chance for, as you're reading this and you see how the Cottons operate and you see how they're viewed by society and viewed by middle class or the minority, white race, and even the Black race that is not 1%, 100%, 1%, 100%, like the Cottons. This idea of Black privilege existing the same way that white privilege exists here. And so, the idea for the reader is, do you feel the same way about the idea of Black privilege that you would about white privilege? Do you see it more clearly now? Or does it taint it for you? Does it shade it for you? Is it still hidden? By giving this other side, we're looking at what was termed in the very first issue, implicit bias. Where does your implicit bias fall at when it comes to the idea of privilege, Black or white? And this is the thing that's really trippy. Okay, so real talk, right? So the cool thing is, and I feel like it's really cool. I'm married to a white woman, and so she's reading Black Cotton, right? And she read issue 1, and she loved issue 2, and she was like, it's a mind fuck, like it's a mind app, because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to curse or not on this thing.
You can say whatever you want to say.
She was like, it's a mind fuck, because like I know that like the Black is white and the white is Black, and so I'm catching myself trying to figure out like where I'm attached or relate to. Yeah. Exactly. So she's reading, Black privilege, and she gets it, and she, she's very honest. She's very much like me about like self-discovery and knowing yourself, and so she really goes at it as dissecting it and discerning, trying to figure out where she lands and what she's attaching to. And I think that's like what Black privilege kind of is symbolic of in issue 2, which is like what this whole arc, in to an extent, what the BCU is about. Is that double-edged sword kind of going in cutting and coming out cutting, because where do you land? Here are some terms that that this is white privilege, but none of it is Black privilege. How do you feel about it? For Black and white, how do you feel about it?
That's a difficult question.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, I like it. I like it a lot.
Because at the end of the day, and here's the thing, like, if you're black, and it's just the way it is, because we're visual, we're so visual, right? We process data through images. You're looking at Zion, and if you're a black man, you're seeing Zion, there's a part of you that's rooting for Zion because he's a black man, and he's like, oh man, you made a mistake, et cetera, et cetera. But then you have to think about the real world and say, well, wait a second. Is that how you would feel in the real world with the white man?
Yeah.
But because Zion is black, does your opinion and your thoughts now change? How do you feel about Elizabeth? Like, she survived this. Like, do you have feelings for her? And that's the thing, because at the end of the day, Zion actually, even though he is black, he represents the white in this world. And even though Elizabeth is white, she represents the black in this world. But at the same time, Zion is black and Elizabeth is white. So it's like, I don't know what to do.
And going back to the mind F, so that's where we also trip people out, because when they try to say, okay, so in reality, here's what happens with a cop shooting, but then they start reading and we do different things with Zion that they don't see in reality, and they have to ask themselves, well, he's doing the right thing, but we don't see that in reality. How come we don't see that same thing in reality? So now they have to deal with that within themselves. They have to think about it. It's like, wow. And that's what is so much in Black Tie, meaning you got the mind of going where you're trying to figure out where you land, and then you see that we've also given you examples of what should happen, that isn't happening, where you have to also address that. And shoot, man, it is, hey, that's just, that's the ride that you on.
It's not an exact replica of our world.
Right.
You see our world, but there's things in it that's not exactly the same way. I mean, one being, like you said, like the fact that Zion doesn't make the exact same choices. We've taken it a step further. Mm-hmm. And that's what leads into issue 3. What at the end of issue 2, he's going to see Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So that presents a whole nother thing that we don't get to see in this world. 1, the victim survived. And 2, you have the officer involved in the officer involved shooting is going to go see the victim.
Yeah. Showing remorse. We don't see that. And here's the issue with our current reality. Look at I think it was in Florida, the teens that were vaping, or the individuals, I'll say individual could have been 18, but we'll say, the individuals who were vaping, and the way the cops went to such an extreme level where this one cop, you got 2 cops holding the kid down, and then another cop taking his knee and just doing all his might. He's trying to hurt the kid. That's my thing. You see this, and we're still seeing it. After everything that has happened, and we'll just say the last 2 years, we still don't see change. We don't see remorse. We don't see what, and we talk about this in the military, police your own. It's like, hey, you know what? Don't let me have to step in. You police your own. Get rid of those bad apples. You see them, you working with them. Guess what? If you don't want the force as a whole tainted, you got to weed out the bad apples. But they're not doing that. They're letting these fools, 1, stick around, damage the institution, get promoted, and they're spreading that same type of thought pattern and bad leadership on to the new ones that are coming. Because Michael, the question that I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut up. The question that I always ask is this: how come none of the other cops ever say stop to the one cop who is acting a fool?
Yeah.
You never see anybody put a hand up and say, yo, bruh, what are you doing? Stop. Or, hey, push him away. Hey, you don't see none of that. Even with George Floyd, you see all them idiots watch him kill the man, and you're cops. Just as an individual, you step in. But none of them, you don't see that with law enforcement. And that's a problem with I have a problem with that, because human to human, guess what? You should just step in. You can't put any of your family members in that individual's place. If that was your family member, would you just stand by? And I'm gonna say this, shut up. I posted on Instagram. I said, they're gonna continue. And what's going to happen is one day, the crowd, the people who are watching are going to go from watching to reacting, because they're going to say enough is enough. And it's a lot more civilians walking around with guns than cops.
Yes.
So they need to fix themselves before all these people who are walking around with guns. Look at all these mass shootings that are happening. There are guns out there. There are crazy people out there. You need to calm yourself down before you run into the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true.
I don't think Brian wants to follow that now.
I mean, what can I say?
I think Patrick kind of summed it up perfectly right there, man.
Yeah, what can I say?
I'm super excited for Black Cotton, the future of Black Cotton.
Thank you.
Hopefully we get more spinoffs of Black Cotton.
Hey,
I like
Volume 2, 2022.
Yeah.
Greenlit, Volume 2.
Oh man, I'm telling you,
Patrick and I are already on it.
People ain't ready for Volume 2. I'm telling you.
Volume 2 is gonna be sweet.
Hey, look, they just got into 3 and they going crazy, because I know you still gotta, you gotta absorb 3. But man, man.
I saw a couple ratings for 3. Huh. Okay. That's what they do. Man, the reviews, they're like, it's kind of high.
When we finish, when they get to number 6 and this story arc ends, they're gonna be like, oh man, what the heck did they just do? And then we come back with Volume 2, because Black Cotton, people, it's an ongoing series. It don't stop. Me and Brian, we already talking all the way up to 24, issue 24 right now. So we got some plans for you, and it's gonna blow your mind. Volume 2.
Okay.
Man. We're very excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And number 3, the beauty about number 3 is it lets people know that the universe opens to Black Cotton. Meaning, right now you've been focusing on just, the shooting and Virginia, where they're at. And all of a sudden you're like, oh snap, there's a whole world, Yeah. And it stretches out further. So now they understand that Black Cotton is deep. It goes deep.
BCU, the BC. And if you look back at issue 1 and issue 2, you can see the seeds that were planted for like that there in issue 3. It's just that, people are very focused, but not understanding on the shooting. Yeah. But the seeds of the larger universe is there in issue 1.
Now I have another question.
Okay.
Now you done brought up another question I want to ask now.
Uh-huh.
Is there a possibility that we get other genres of comics in the Black Cotton universe? What I mean by that is, okay, Black Cotton story is kind of political, activist story.
Mm-hmm.
Will we get a superhero story maybe? Or a crime noir story? All in this kind of same universe. I feel like this universe has areas it could go into that would also be fascinating.
It's ironic you mentioned, well, definitely. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I'll say definitely. Me and Brian, we're not just working on Black Cotton. Me and Brian are always, talking, and we got some other things that we're working on now too, that is right along what you were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Milestone's coming back, but I can always use two. We can always have another universe.
It's all about how we connect it. And what we have planned is,
Yeah.
We obviously can't reveal it, but what we have planned, and
we're
how we're going to connect it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely. And me and Brian, we talked about it. We felt that it was an area that we really should go into too, simply because Black Cotton, you really have limitations, because it's set in sort of a reality setting. But guess what? When you go into superheroes and all of these other areas, well, guess what? The blinders are taken off, the chains are dropped. Yeah. So we can really do some things, and we're excited about that. We've been working on it, and we be talking about something, and just hey, I was also thinking about this. I put it on the parking lot,
And to clarify, like we can say this, like you won't see superheroes flying around literally in the Black Cotton universe. Yeah. But like there's not like this normal world, and then all of a sudden our version of Spider-Man is going to come through. That's not going to happen. Okay. But we do have something that's connected, that's within the universe, that will make sense when you see it. But it's not Marvel where there's superpowers running around.
I like that. I like that a lot. If y'all want to draw a random podcaster interviewing somebody from the Black Cotton family, you know who to draw. Not Mike.
Okay, Cotton. All right. Got you. We got you.
So, any final thoughts before we go?
Man.
Oh man. No, man. Look, thank you for having us on. Thank you for your continued support of Black Cotton. Black Cotton 3 is out now in stores. Black Cotton 4, July 14th. And just go out, support your local comic book store, pick up, indie comic books especially, please. And Scout web store is available for the variants, as well as if you can't make it out to the store, there's digital copies there. Scout is doing something new that, they just released it about comic tags. So if you haven't, got caught up with the comic tags, it's their way of collecting the digital comics, believe it or not.
Right.
With a physical aspect to it, with a comic tag. So look for that. It's a lot of cool stuff, in the 21st century comic book world that we're in. That's coming down the pipe, and it's very cool that we are a part of it. That Black Cotton is a part of it. So, yeah, there we are. Black Cotton.
Black Cotton.
What I say is, make sure y'all read 1 through 3. Catch up if you haven't, because it is definitely something that people are going to be talking about for the ages. So definitely pick it up, read it, and then hit us up. Let us know what you think, you know. And also, you know, shoot, man, Brian never toots his own horn or anything, but make sure y'all, you know, he been putting some phenomenal stuff out. So please, you know, check out Brian Hawkins writes. Also subscribe to his newsletter. The guy's a freaking genius, you know, and he be dropping gems for all of those who, you know, are aspiring to write or who are in the process of writing. He be dropping gems on his on his newsletter that he puts out. So definitely read it. Hell, I read it because I'm still, you know, growing under his tutelage. So definitely you know, look him up and subscribe to it. We're trying to get over that 5,000 mark on Instagram. You know, we got 4,900 and some. We about 25. I think 25, you know, from 5,000. So that'd be
Is it that many already? Really?
I think I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. You
I'll
know,
have to check it out.
Yeah, so we trying to get over that 5,000 mark, you know. So please, if you haven't, you know, hit that follow button on Instagram. Just, you know, look up Black Cotton Comic and it'll pop up, and that'll also, you know, keep you informed. Last thing I'll say is this. Hey, I'm gonna be in Mississippi at the Comic-Con that's gonna be out there, and from June the 26th and 27th. I'll be there. Also, Black Cotton will be at the MegaCon in Orlando in August. So please, you know, if you're in Orlando and you want some comic books signed, you know, we got a time slot. So check out the time slot when we'll be there. And I definitely, you know, make sure that, you know, Black Cotton definitely put some on your comic book, because we appreciate, we love, and we love our fans. You know, we appreciate you. So check us out.
Now I gotta ask this:
August the 12th through the 15th or 16th in Orlando, the MegaCon.
Florida SuperCon is coming down here. Will Black Cotton be there?
Ooh,
Florida SuperCon is pretty big in Miami, Florida. It's pretty big.
What's the date?
I gotta find out. I'll email it to you guys.
You let me know, and I'll hit up Scout, and definitely, you know, if we can be there, we'll be there. So that's definitely, yeah. They told us, you know, about MegaCon. They wanted us there, so hey, we're gonna be there. You know, we'll be anywhere the fans want us.
There you go.
Fact.
All right, and as always, Delvin Cox Experience. We are out. Nope, not peace. Black Cotton.
Black Cotton. I love it.
Awesome.